Hello, my name is Dr. Anthony Basil, and this presentation is for the Senior Teaching Fellow for the Immersion Coordinator. In the bottom right-hand side of the screen, you can see that there are a number of links. If this were a live presentation, you could click on those links to get the files locally. But for this video, we will just be asking you to stop the presentation to get the links if you want to see the file. So, here we go. What I'll be discussing is the professional social network learning approach that's done through webinars. And in particular, a project that I was director and manager for with Executive Action Project. So the alumni for the Professional Doctorate Program at the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning were invited to do a kind of interview webinar and talk about the lessons learned from the action projects that they did as part of their master's and doctorate. So in this discussion, there are three main questions that I want to address. First of all, what? Okay, so what are we going to be doing? We're going to be looking at a live webinar interview to share good practice of the practitioner researchers. Within the organizations, they became change agents to impact on procedure and policy for the organization. Well, how was this done? As an Adobe International Education leader, I was able to set up an Adobe Connect web video conference so that we were able to webcast the interview out to international audiences. But we also had a local video, which we'll be showing you some pictures of in a few minutes. The video then was used to create not only e-learning resources, but also e-marketing resources. And why did we do this? Well, we wanted to build human resources and intellectual capital. So the model that we tried to develop was what I refer to in my doctorate in learning technology design as PAT, pre, at, and post. And so we would do things before the actual webinar. Of course, the at was the webinar itself. And then we would promote this online community for after the webinar. So it was called Work-Based Learning Wednesdays, and the first Wednesday of every month, we would invite various alumni from Middlesex University to come in and share their practice and lessons learned. I would do an interview, as you can see in this picture, with the candidates, and then at the end we would always ask the question: tell us 3 things for tips for success. And that would be edited into a separate short snippet later on, and we would also use that for web video testimonials as well. The research paper, which we published in a journal and presented in several international conferences, is available here as well. Well, what informed this design, this interactive webinar design? Well, we did a bit of market research. We looked around at other models of how people are doing webinars. And one of the big things that we wanted to try to do was to not just present the information, but to develop a virtual learning community and to promote a learning culture within the organization. So one example is the Learning and Skills Group. You can see here in this slide screenshot of their website, which there's a link if you wish to explore in more detail. And they do monthly webinars with various members of their organization, which promotes sharing and collaboration within the organization. Now, along with the webinars, these events are linked to a face-to-face conference that they have, where the Learning Technology Exhibition and Conference is held at Excel Center each year, and again ties the community together into a face-to-face event to give them the opportunity to share in person as well as virtually. So this blended learning approach is something which adds power to developing that community. Again, there's a link there if you want to see a sample of one of the conference videos. All right, so let's get down into a little bit of the detail and the history. Believe it or not, the project started literally in a closet with me and a laptop and one of the alumni. We did it as a pilot study and didn't really have a budget, but it was quite an interesting experience to get the project off the ground and then be able to see step by step, how we were able to develop it into this larger, more engaging webinar design. So from the closet and the little tiny starting point, we were able to get a colleague of mine, Dr. Mike Howarth, who was a BBC producer for education programming, to help us, and we expanded from the closet into a studio, which was one of the computing science labs. And once a month we would go in and set up where we would not only have him, working as the director, but we would also have another important role, which we termed the text moderator. So along with me doing the live face-to-face interview, we would have a person logged in as a guest, and they would be facilitating the text discussion board for the remote audience. So we didn't have the people speaking or on video. They were participating through the text discussion board with questions that they might have. And so the facilitator would be putting prompts up in the discussion board or answering questions, and would let me know by signaling me if there were any issues that we needed to respond to in the live interview. So that way the interviewee would be able to respond to any questions from the audience. The next part of the design included getting local video of the event. So this was great because we were able to get the students to help out, and this was a good work placement for them. And through this video recording, we were able to edit the video and to get e-learning resources created, as well as the e-marketing resources. Again, Dr. Howard provided us with a number of tips and success approaches in order to be able to get this video made in a way that would be of a high quality and high standard. So when we started out with this, we were looking at it from a point of view of learning technology and e-learning design. You know, we wanted the live interview to be as engaging and involve the audience as much as possible. But as we were developing the project, we realized that working with the marketing director, we were able to also use this as a great way of building this virtual community and linking to the outside audience. So not only were we looking at the direct contact for the guest speaker, you know, from their organization, because of course they would invite the people from their organization to see them, you know, on the webcast. But we'd also invite prospective new students or clients that would be possibly coming in to see this webcast as well. And students that were in the process of doing their action project currently were also invited, so they could actually hear from their peers. So it was peer-to-peer marketing and peer-to-peer learning design, so that it wasn't the salesperson or the lecturer talking down, but it was bottom-up approach, so that they were able to hear from the actual students their experiences and tips to success. So as you can see in these slides, the layout of the design and how we had it set up, we were able to have the dialogue going on. People were able to see the text discussion. There was live engagement, and from this, we were able to link with a number of different businesses and academic partners as well. So with each month, we would be adding to the program. We would be adding more and more organizations, and we were able to develop this professional social network. And so this professional social network learning model grew organically each month, so that the stakeholders were bringing in the audience themselves, and so again it was a bottom-up design. So bringing everything together here for the conclusion of this presentation, the project found that webinars and the recordings that were made as well were powerful tools, not just for the e-learning, but also for e-marketing. And that webinars, if designed correctly, instead of simply being a one-way transmission model, like a lecture that might have questions and answers only at the end, But if it's designed with a local facilitator to be able to moderate the text and get the audience involved, there's that possibility of building that professional social network. And that the alumni can share the lessons learned from the workplace, from the action projects that they've done, which can impact on the organizational practice and policy. So any of the lessons that they've learned, we're able to capture and edit into a quick snapshot, which the possible new students or current students or other people in organizations were able to take advantage of. Spin-offs from this that we were able to do is to use the web video conferencing, the webinars as a way of doing inductions. We were able to create induction resources for people that were coming in. And I've been working with colleagues in an augmented and virtual reality production company, and we're integrating, along with the webinars, opportunities to work with augmented reality in this professional social network learning design as well. I hope that you found this interesting, and please do email me if you have any questions.